Here we are at Norbu House, getting ready for spiritual stories from Tibet.
Welcome, welcome. Pull up a chair. Let's think about some Tibetan tales of splendor and wisdom. I'm Domo Geshe, and if you're there with your family, hello kids, hello adults, hello grandma. So please have a seat, and we're going to finish this storybook just now, the last of 3 stories. This is Tibetan Tales for Little Buddhas with wonderful illustrations. This is by Naomi C. And yesterday we read about dakinis and wonderments, and today is our last story called Chunda's Wisdom Quest. Wonderful illustrations, and I believe that must be Chunda there with his backpack, and I'll start now. Chunda labored up the rocky path and stopped at the crest of the hill. With the sleeve of his young monk's robe, he wiped his sweaty brow. Just yesterday, the elder monks had bid him goodbye. For your next wisdom lesson, follow this path to the mystical land of Pema Kö. How will I know when I get there? Chunda had asked. Just pay attention, the oldest monk had replied. Now Chunda gazed down the path. If I hurry, he thought, I might find Pema Kö by sundown. Racing to the bottom of the hill, he stumbled and fell. My ankle, he cried. But this beautiful landscape, this would be Tibet. Rushing rivers. Oh no! Chunda winced as he slid his shoe off his swollen foot. He untied his sash and wrapped his ankle. After crawling to a meadow, he rested against the trunk of a big tree. I'll never find Pema Kö, he fretted. I've ruined my wisdom quest. This is Tibetan language down here at the bottom. What I'm saying in English, here it is in Tibetan. Isn't it beautiful writing? Just then, goats sprang into the meadow. Chunda smiled as they gathered around. Do you think I could be a wise monk someday? He asked. A goat licked Chunda's hand. Atop the grassy hill, a dark figure lumbered across the high meadow. What a strange creature, muttered Chunda. Looks like a man, but bigger, more like a gorilla. I hope he stays away from me. The sun rose higher and Chunda grew thirsty. I hear rushing water, time for a drink. He hoisted himself up with a large stick and limped to the river. The goats trotted behind. What a funny parade, isn't it? There's Chunda and all the goats. After a long drink, Chunda picked some berries. With these and the food in my pack, he thought, I can last a while. Maybe I can still find Pema Kö when my ankle heals. Chunda sat under the tree. I miss the monks, he told the goats. They always say, watching the breath eases the mind. Then you can be gentle and kind. He focused on his breath. In, out, in, out. Before long, stars shone through the branches. He closed his eyes and softly snored among the slumbering goats. There's even an owl there watching. He must be a nice person that the goats wanted to be with him. The next day, Chunda saw the creature again. He must be going to the river, muttered Chunda. I think he lives alone up there in that shack. Chunda spent his days petting the goats and watching the creature. Each day his ankle hurt as much as it did the day before. I'll never find Pema Kö and become wise, he worried. One day Chunda didn't see the creature. He watched the shack closely, but the creature did not appear. Chunda grabbed his walking stick. A wise monk would find out if something's wrong. Wow, does that look like a person? Who is that? He's covered with fur. My goodness. Chunda hobbled up the hill to the shack and peeked through the open door. Oh, he cried. The gigantic creature lay outstretched, eyes closed, and fangs apart. Is he an animal or a human? Chunda wondered. He inched his head inside. Looks like both, he whispered. I know, he must be a yeti. Chunda peered closer. The yeti's gruesome face was smooth. A hairless face? That's the kind that eats humans. I better get away fast. Just then, the yeti moaned. The pitiful sound tugged at Chunda's heart. He could see a huge splinter of wood lodged in the yeti's foot. Drops of sweat glistened above the creature's bushy brows. He's ill, murmured Chunda. If I remove the splinter, he might heal. The yeti moaned again. Here's the big splinter. Can you see it here on his foot? Poor thing. Even a goat is interested. He's looking in also. This is not a very well-kept shack. Oh, I should help. But he could eat me. What should I do? What would the monks do? They'd say, watching the breath eases the mind, then you can be gentle and kind. Chunda focused on his breath. In, out, in, out. He limped toward the yeti. With both hands, he pulled the splinter out of the swollen foot. The yeti's loud groan sent shivers down Chunda's spine. With the corner of his sleeve, Chunda dabbed the wound. Then he tore a strip of cloth from his robe and bandaged the yeti's foot. All the while, the yeti watched him through half-closed eyes. I hope I helped you, said Chunda as he limped away. There he is, fixing his foot. The yeti emerged from the shack the following day. Chunda grinned as he watched the creature limp across the high meadow. The yeti's limp is exactly the same as mine, thought Chunda. The next day, the yeti limped more quickly. Chunda limped more quickly, too. Soon the yeti walked with ease. The yeti's foot is healed, cried Chunda. He stepped through the meadow. And I can finally walk, too. Chunda stopped and rubbed his chin. How strange. In helping the yeti, I help myself. That's like a lesson from the monks. Yes, a wisdom lesson. He looked around and laughed. I've been in Pema Kö all along. As dusk fell, Chunda packed his belongings. Tomorrow I head back to the monastery, he told the goats. Brr, just in time. The snows are coming. Suddenly, the animals scattered. Chunda jerked his head to see the yeti leaping toward him. Grrr! Chunda's heart pounded. The creature's coming to eat me. He focused on his breath. In, out, in, out. The Yeti lunged forward, threw a bundle onto the grass, and bounded off. Chunda bent down. On the ground was an animal fur. He smiled. This will keep me warm on my journey. In the morning, Chunda said goodbye to the goats. Look after the Yeti. Then he grabbed his pack and hiked toward the rocky path. Wait until I tell the monks about my lesson, thought Chunda. Maybe I'll become a wise monk after all. And that is the end. What a wonderful book, huh? So now we have our new book, which will start now. This is called Shantideva, How to Wake Up a Hero. How to Wake Up a Hero. And this is adapted by Dominique Townsend and illustrated by Tenzin Norbu. So I'm sure Tenzin Norbu is a Tibetan, and the pictures look like they were painted by Tibetan. So maybe he's a Thangka painter. So, when I was in my before, I heard so many stories about Yetis, but I myself never saw. But I went on a lot of wisdom adventures when I was a teenager in Tibet. One place we went to was very scary, and I went with a group of monks to learn wisdom lessons. I remember them to this day. So here's our new book. One of my favorite people, Shantideva. If you don't know about Shantideva, you will soon. Here's a tiny picture, almost like a size of a postage stamp. And this story is called A Flash of Lightning. Many years ago, there lived a young monk named Shantideva. He went to a special school called a monastery where he learned how to be wise and kind. In ancient India, one especially wise and kind type of person was called a bodhisattva. Bodhi means awake, wise and kind. And a sattva is a being. That's what Shantideva wanted to be, an awake being, a hero. But Shantideva did not act like the other monks. He liked to lie around sleeping when the other monks were studying. He relaxed and dozed in the afternoon sun. No one ever saw him open a book. And he made his teachers mad by snoring during class. Most of the monks didn't even know Shantideva's name. They called him the monk who only eats, sleeps, and poops. My. One day, some monks decided to play a trick on Shantideva. They went to the hillside where he was napping and shook him awake. Please, they said, teach us how to be a bodhisattva. You must know a lot since you study so hard. They laughed. Shantideva yawned and said, I don't know much, but I will try. The next day, Shantideva went to the monastery courtyard where all the monks were waiting. A lot of people had come hoping to hear something funny. They set up a high throne for Shantideva. He climbed up on his seat and said, I don't have any new ideas, and I'm not very clever. So this might be boring for you. I want to show you this picture. lovely illustration here. This is Shantideva sitting on an especially high throne, and all of the people around them that are waiting to play this big joke because they think he doesn't know anything. I don't know, maybe he doesn't. Everyone laughed. I might make some mistakes, but I will try my best. Should I recite from one of our books on wisdom and kindness? Or should I tell you something in my own words? The people yelled, "Teach us something new." How surprised they were then. Shantideva rose up off his throne and floating in midair, this is what he told them. We are lucky to be human. We humans can decide what we like and what we don't like, what is right and what is wrong. But being human is also hard work. We have to think about what to say and what to do and try to figure out the best way to live. Since everyone wants to be happy and no one wants to feel sad, the best way to be happy is to seek happiness for everybody. If you think, I want everything for myself, I don't care how anyone else feels, then no one feels happy, not even you. But when you have a loving thought like, I want to help, or please share what I have, it can brighten the whole world. Such a thought is rare and brilliant, like a flash of lightning on a dark, stormy night. For when you act kind, you feel relaxed and happy, and the people around you feel better too. Once they have seen the lightning of your kindness, they also want to be kind. But you don't have to wait for a kind thought. You can practice acting kind. A habit is something you have done so many times you don't have to think about it. You just do it. Being selfish and angry is a habit, but being generous and kind can become a habit too. And if you keep practicing, one day you can have perfect kindness. Do you know what bodhisattvas are? Bodhisattvas promise to practice and practice until they are perfectly kind and wise, helping everyone feel happier wherever they go, even their enemies. They are superheroes. Bodhisattvas know that kindness and wisdom works best when they go hand in hand. For when you have wisdom, giving makes you richer, and taking care of others fills you with joy. We try so hard to be happy, and sometimes we even try to make others happy too. But it doesn't always work, and even when it does, it doesn't last. That is why we need to become bodhisattvas. I'm going to show you another picture. This is when Shantideva was teaching. But he wasn't sitting on the throne. He was raised up in the sky. And he just hung there. And the people were very surprised. This is a famous story. They say this really happened. Other superheroes have special powers or cool stuff, but anyone can become a bodhisattva. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, rich or poor, big or small. It doesn't matter what language you speak or what color your skin is. All you have to do is decide, I want to become a bodhisattva. I am going to try. And then start practicing. The people became curious. They started to listen closely. Maybe Shantideva had something valuable to say. My feelings are always changing, and when a feeling has passed, it's like a happening in a dream. When I wake up from a beautiful dream, the things I enjoyed when I was asleep disappear. When I wake up from a nightmare, I feel scared until I see that I am safe in my bed. Sometimes I feel sad about something one day, and by the next day it doesn't bother me. When I fight with my friend, we say mean things and may even make each other cry. The next day we forget the fight and have fun together again. When I remember that my feelings are always changing, then my bad feelings don't bother me so much. Feeling angry is like being sick. When I have a bad cold, it is hard to remember how it feels to be healthy. Likewise, when something makes me mad, like when someone takes my favorite book, I can't think about anything else. I can't even enjoy my other books. Everything is gloomy, and I can't remember what it feels like to be happy. When my body feels sick, I rest and take medicine. But what kind of medicine heals sadness and anger? Sometimes the best medicine is just recalling that my feelings will change. In a year, a week, or even an hour, I may not even remember this feeling. Sometimes I can even watch my anger disappear. This is one of the ways a bodhisattva heals bad feelings. Bodhisattvas are like doctors for feelings, with many cures. Say somebody says mean things about me. What if, instead of just getting angry, I try to be calm and listen? Maybe what that person says is true, and maybe it isn't. Either way, relaxing and thinking about it like this can help. Bodhisattvas know that the best medicine for our feelings is wishing others to be happy. That is what makes them superheroes. It's nice to give a little food to a hungry person, but bodhisattvas give their entire meal, and they enjoy the meal much more than if they had eaten it themselves. Imagine that. A bodhisattva will do anything to help others find happiness. Worms, tigers, pollywogs, all beings. Making others happy makes the bodhisattva happy. The monks who had made fun of Shantideva were so surprised. They never imagined he understood so much. So tomorrow we're going to continue this story, and this one, next one, is going to be called How to Stay Awake. How to Stay Awake. So it's getting late, so tomorrow we'll find out more how to stay awake. Shantideva, how to wake up a hero. I hope you enjoyed this first story. There's a famous book. His most famous book is called Bodhicharya Avatara, or Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. It's one of my favorite books, and it's written in more adult language, but I thoroughly enjoyed this explanation. It was easy to understand for adults and for children. Thank you for joining us. See you tomorrow night.